Ring, ring, ring. 30 cents and $1 XRP is ringing. Donald Dump is coming into view. However, we made the initial call. Yes, we did. Since no one else will say this, please enjoy this video. Trump admitted that he had the ability to trigger a recession. But hold on a second. Doesn't desire a depression. Nevertheless. Oh no. A recession is therefore possible. All right? They're saying it might happen. However, we stated, on this path to collapse, there will be a pump initially, followed by a dump that contributes to a recession, followed by the printing of a staggering amount of money, roughly $30 trillion, and the bluff top. What happens next in this moment? Something terrible. Trump doesn't give a damn. Listen, he'll do his job. He was well-timed for this moment for a reason. Yeah, guys, these next few years are gonna be bad. You will have to choose between making it or falling behind. I am telling you that we are here to tell you the truth, and nothing else. Fresh. We received confirmation. I'm concerned about something more serious than a recession, says Ray Dalio. We own something far more profound. The financial order is disintegrating. Why? For what reason? Because a fresh order is about to be issued. XRP. Without a doubt, XRP was selected, which is also the one that has a connection to Donald Trump. Those who support Donald Trump are the people. He most certainly is. Everything breaking down is the path to that destination. The core of the new system will be XRP. Oh, and there's one more important element that connects it all. This tiny black swan is it, that is always expanding and has to do with a particular nation, which we will discuss after viewing this. So get ready, but let's look into what this gentleman has to say. He has done a lot of research and stated that a new system comes up roughly every 100 years. Pay attention. I am concerned about something worse than a recession, because I believe that we are currently at a turning point, and on the verge of one, if this is not properly managed. Recessions are defined as 2/4 of GDP that are negative, and they always occur, no matter how little the decline. We're dealing with something far deeper. The monetary order is disintegrating. Because we are unable to spend the sums of money, we will be changing the monetary order. Additionally, we have that when discussing tariffs and the dollar, both the local order and the way that power is exercised are undergoing significant changes, as is the global order. These times resemble the 1930s quite a bit. I have studied history, and this keeps coming up. Therefore, if you look at the factors, those changes in the orders, rising power, challenging existing authority, tariffs and debt, the systems are really disruptive. The outcome of how that is handled could be far worse than a recession. That's right, far worse than a recession. It will be far more severe than a depression. Why? Because guys, we've never experienced it. Introducing something new is a complete collapse, if you're living right now. He did, however, claim to have studied history, and the same thing keeps happening. Correct? Dismantling the existing order to make room for a fresh one. But do you recall who said it first? XRP is it. Let's now discuss the ticking time bomb. This black swan event is the ticking time bomb that will cause XRP and all these stocks and cryptocurrencies to drop in value. Although no one else will call, investigations have shown that this is going to become out of control. Why? Outrageous. China demands that the United States remove all tariffs. All right, so China is under American control. According to the White House, Trump has no intention of discussing the tariff dispute with Chinese President Xi Jinping. Why? Because he wants, but what does he want? Guys, he wants this to go out of control. The reintroduction of QE is really necessary for them. China's all right, so let's go right to the point. Because of all these tariffs, China has stopped exporting some rare earth materials to the US. But this is really strange. Do you know why? The black swan accelerates at this point. We're going to make the connection. So even though this might look a little strange, it's not men. And this is related to a game that warned us that this year will be more than just a war of terror. The Cold War, perhaps. Let's pay attention. Everyone who worked on Call of Duty Black Ops 2 needs to be looked into. Because I have no doubt that the person in that room is a time traveler. You would have probably called me insane if I had told you 13 years ago that a game creator would make future predictions. But remain with me. As you can see, Black Ops 2 came out in November 2012. Additionally, there is a campaign in each and every Call of Duty game. Additionally, China and the US are engaged in a Cold War in the Black Ops 2 campaign. However, what specifically sparked the Cold War between the US and China? It's because China stopped shipping rare earth materials, as stated exactly here, which sounds utterly crazy, as if it will never occur. That was only yesterday in China. Oh my God, this is a reach, you could be thinking. A video game predicted that all of this would occur at some point in the future. However, when you consider that Black Ops 2 was not set in 2012, it becomes much more bizarre. It is really set in 2025, which is the year we are in right now. This means that 13 years ago, the game development team that was creating Black Ops was able to properly forecast all of this, even down to the year it is taking place. We must make an investment. Oh. First point, 13 years ago. Oh. Second, it's all about these rare earth minerals, aren't they? Then something more destructive than a terraforce started. Look guys, I don't really recall the campaign, but I do remember playing this game. But once more, everything is connected. Let's do extra research now to be sure they are telling the truth. All of this is subconscious programming, folks. This will be the first thing, God forbid, if this truly occurs. However, I believe it will occur because they must resume QE. And for QE to resume, inflation must decline. To deflation more so, that can only take place if a black swan actually blows up. And this is probably the trigger. This will be the catalyst for everything.
Excellent.
Elements of rare earth. The entire fucking world revolves around it.
Oh.
Who is in charge of everything? China. How did they know then? It also happens in 2025. Correct? The year 2025 marks the start of this game. Furthermore, Nuketown 2025 is purportedly a map in the game. Yes, it discusses nuclear and other topics. Guys, we're on our way to that 0 point. The recession which we are on the verge of experiencing comes first, I suppose. After everything simply rises, the despair comes in at number 2, diabolically until the system is overwhelmed, at which point XRP comes into play. Correct? Donald has entered, so he took Donald's poo. He even went so far as to scream, "Screw China," as Trump claims that everyone is paying for unfair trade and tariffs, particularly China. What is so strange about this? He revealed today that America doesn't care about China, despite 130 countries already discussing new trade agreements with the skeptics. Since this game was intended for these two specific countries, while they are engaged in a Cold War, China isn't getting off the hook, so why? And that's when the black zone blows out, which is how we get to all of these cryptocurrency assets and stock values. Bottoms, after which we will go on a devilish and diabolical run. Continuous up-only paradigm, in which the Fed prints 30 trillion, or perhaps $50 trillion, correct? Literally, it feels like 2020 on steroids. Thus, it is now beginning to make sense, to be fair. On April 12, China would increase tariffs from 84% to 125% on all imported and aced goods. Correct? Thus, this will just continue to pick up speed. Get it while it's still hot, too. Reuters reports that Trump will reveal more details on chip tariffs on Monday. He never stops. Correct? Once more, though, I ask that you enjoy today's film as I'm revealing the truth, and we're simply saying the truth. Now the Fed is saying, hey, hold on a second. Fed officials claim that they are actually prepared to print money and are completely prepared to meddle in financial markets. Guys, they have their finger on the button, and they will